Hello. We're just going to hop into the pre-stream right away. No more big old delays. So yeah, we'll start in 3 minutes. Who do we have today? If anyone. If not, that's fine. I feel like I'm a little closer than normal. Oh, let's update the Discord. Should I do? Oh, let's crank the quality on this down a lot so I can actually not have it. Is it still taking up? I hate Chrome. Why is this single YouTube video taking up half a gigabyte of my memory or whatever? That's stupid. Anyway. 2 minutes. 2 minutes until I start. How we all doing? Make sure I got my notes ready. I got water. And yeah. Yeah. Oh, I slept very poorly last night, so I'm a little out of it, but whatever. Now. Going for 2 minutes. About to kick it off. And all right, it's 1 o'clock, so time to begin. Once I grab the right screen. Where is the screen? Well, I found it, but I'm on the wrong side. There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. So, for this one would be for April 2025. All right. Right off the bat, I will report this has been a net, probably overall net negative as far as progress goes this month. There were issues that have set a few things backwards. I'm getting increasingly frustrated with elements of Unreal. There is a bug I have been encountering. I don't know if it's a Unreal 5 bug, but it seems to have been in all my projects where things are not being loaded into memory like they're supposed to, because it's supposed to be once something is hard referenced in... Okay, let me also double check and make sure. Yeah, I have switched over screens. Just making sure. So my stream seems like it's behind. Can you all see my screen, like the game viewport? Oh, there we go. Okay, just transitioned on my... So I'm like 2 minutes behind. Whatever. Anyway, the way Unreal's supposed to work is that when there's a hard reference to an asset, it loads it into memory. That hasn't been happening for a number of things, namely textures. So I'm getting a lot of broken textures, and I have to go and manually click on the file to load it in, and I don't know why that's happening. Maybe it's a setting in my project, but I really don't think so. It's also a problem because of how I'm using the Mutables plugin, which is the Unreal 5 plugin. I'll go here to show. No, get out of here. Maybe it's fixed now, but before it wasn't working. Where you have these instances of mutables, which are just customized. I'll talk about these more, I guess, a little bit later. But basically, you take pieces of a skeleton mesh, stick them together, and it creates one mesh to save memory and size. But the problem is, I've been having an issue where I can drop them in and it won't actually load them in. So let's find Leo, because he was the one I was looking at. He's somewhere around here. Here we go. Okay, so I just dropped that into there, and it's not referencing it either, because for some reason, it appearing here means it's not loaded into memory, so I have to actually go and manually load it. Okay, so now it's here, and now let me check and see if it's loaded in. Yeah, there we go, and now it's actually loaded into memory. Which is frustrating, because it means now I'm having trouble using them in the actual game, because I have to now basically write some system or something that'll check and make sure these are actually loaded in when I need them. Otherwise, it's not actually going to apply the skeletal mesh. Anyway, so yeah, as well as just generally, the more I work on trying to fix up and clean up the project, the more I realize how the very poor decisions I made early on that are now coming back to bite me in the butt. So yeah, not a great month as far as progress, but I nonetheless do have a few things to report. So we'll see if this actually ends up going 30 minutes. If not, maybe there's other stuff I can show off. But all right, first thing, let me actually pull up something different for a moment. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is I have new designs for the characters, or renders for the characters. So we got Matilda, I think your third-party member. Now these are not complete. These are basically the first draft, and then I'm going to do a second one with cleaned up line art and shadows and maybe coloring too. But we have that's one from Matilda, and then Orion, who is your elf party member. He's a mage. Yeah, so trying to start making progress on those. I'm really trying to start basically just doing slow down on a lot of overall progress and basically just forward progress, I guess you could say, like starting from chapter 1 or the title, really starting from the title screen and just working my way forward, being like, all right, now I'm happy with this and I can move on. That's kind of what I'm doing now. But anyway, yeah, so character designs are now coming, proper in-game character renders are coming along. In line with that, let's talk about character models, because the other thing I worked on a bit this last month is trying to actually build the modular character system that I'm wanting to use. Slightly based on Vroid, but modified to use the Unreal skeleton so I can reuse animations. So basically the way it works, if I find it through here, maybe, there's a lot of stuff. If I go to, it's anime, I think. Yeah. So I just have a basic body types. Like here's M1. This is the default male body type. But I'm trying to break it down into segments. Obviously, hair, head, bodies, whatever. For now, I'll just use the full version of the male. But yeah, so like to create a character, it'll. Are you kidding me? I've been streaming for... Okay, there it goes. I was like, I've been streaming for 2 minutes and it's already... My FPS has dropped. You know what? I've had a thought. I wonder if the reason for the FPS drop, because it does seem to usually happen when I'm in the content browser. I'm wondering if they've written the content browser in a way where it's expecting you to have it unloaded, like when it disappears like that. Excuse me. And they're not expecting me to have one version of it here and one version of it on my other screen. Because who would want their content browser easily available and to have access to it at an instant? Who wouldn't want it just in this tiny cramped thing where you can barely look through all your hundreds of folders you need to look through? That's speculation. I don't know if that's why, but wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, so back to character customization. Wait, you look at that. We're already down to freaking. We would drop down to like 15 frames for there. Why is Epic just the worst? Anyway, he got hair. And then I can, and then I got add-ons, just different various parts, like different cloaks. You get that one. You can maybe do, I guess, right, I can't. I have to select it and then do it here. I got glasses, and I'm going to be like adding stuff as I need it into the character. But the point is, it's an easy way of modularly building out character pieces. Now, this is a bunch of skeleton meshes, so the way I put them together is, using... Basically, the main reason I'm using Unreal 5 is for the Mutables plugin, which I will actually dive into now. Let's say example for the second party member, Leo, one of the two protagonists. So if I go into here, we'll go into Leo default. Oops. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So, this is his mutable instance. I guess I'll go into the actual graph because there's nothing to modify here. And I believe I've shown this stuff before, but so I can just take all the pieces I need. So like I got the full body. It's kind of neat that they are separated into material slots, so you can just pull off sections of the same mesh that you want. But basically, there I got, I took the cloak, changed the material on it, took that hair piece, changed the material on it. Same thing with the belt and the glasses. Merge them all into one mesh, and then, it spits them out as a combined skeletal mesh somewhere around here, right here. Which is neat, because it's a great memory saver, even though he does have... he has 11 material slots, so that is something that's mostly, I believe, on the body and face. A lot of this stuff needs to be simplified, but and that's how I can get this character from those pieces as a single mesh. And for NPCs, it'll probably be simplified even more. Like, I'll probably create a face that's just... I might even just texture the eyes directly on for NPCs. That would be a big memory saver. So it would be kind of all pretty much one or two materials. But, it's a neat way. And then I have a bunch of other ones. I may have shown off the one for Ellen before. I don't remember. But, here she is without the cape or anything. Which, if I go, I can do that. Let's see. Put the cape on. Give her the skirt. So that's kind of what I'm in the progress of, is making the character model elements, because I need to actually... I'm still using the mannequin for most things, and it's kind of an element I've been dreading for a little bit, but gotta do it. Has to be done. Okay, let's see. What else do I have to show? Frankly, the rest of what I've been working on, it has been improvements to Omega Game Framework. Trying more code optimizations. That really just with sorry, my memory's poor. Internet brain rot. So I watched an interesting video on that from, I think it was Aiden Paladin. She does good social sciences stuff. About like how, I mean, it's kind of common knowledge how the prolonged addiction to internet and your phone could be damaging in your brain. But it gets interesting to get the actual science behind it. But point is, I may have mentioned this before, but by the way, hello Haley Ninja, good to see you. Thanks for coming. And by the way, to anyone who is in chat, I will run out of things to actually show in a few minutes. So if there's anything you want to ask or see, there'll probably be a longer Q&A session, or I can do that, but excuse me. I also might be getting a cold. Anyway, much of my time, like the past month to 2 months, really has been focused on optimization, just because of the discourse going around about Unreal Engine. And while there is a lot of misinformation out there, much of it is also very valid. I mean, it's obviously valid. Just look at what's been produced, but there are issues kind of baked into the engine, or at least the way you're kind of encouraged to design stuff. That I have kind of practices that I've adhered to, and I'm now paying the price for. So I'm trying to go back and largely optimize materials, textures, models, all that stuff, as well as the code for Omega Game Framework, since that's the source code for the game. So that's why there's not really pretty stuff to show off right now. But shrug. So I also need to work on the ClickUps to have a better schedule for what to do. This might be fun to talk about. Some of the stuff I have been working on is trying to create a bunch of public domain assets that I can reuse, including rocks. Here's my rock collection. I guess I can show off my rock collection. That's how you get the girls. You show them your rock collection. You'd be like, hey, this one's from, I don't know, the creek outside my house. This is a lava rock I stole from a park somewhere. But anyway, it's been fun kind of do this because essentially I can take well, actually maybe I'll show you. Let's go. Let me show you how I might make some of these rocks, because it's actually pretty simple and easy. Let's go to Sketchfab. I'll even go over here and let's go to make sure it's CCO, public domain, and look up rock. Download the CCO. It's not really what I'm looking for exactly, but maybe Cliff. These must be new additions. I don't remember seeing these before. Okay, well, for the sake of this, we'll go to actually Fab and look for stuff. Oops, rock. Oh yeah, and I can actually add this directly in here, can't I? So I'll just do that. Scribbity-doo. Rock. Give me the rock. Make sure it's under the CCBY. Not that I'll probably keep this anyway, but if we can find a really nice sort of like cliff face rock, I can show you a fun way of making this stuff. And yeah, now's the time to roll those questions in if you have any, fellas. That's a mossy rock, but it's got like a ground attached. I don't want that. I don't want that whole thing. Because I'm trying to do one that would actually be public domain and wouldn't get you in trouble. Although I guess for demonstration purposes it doesn't matter. All right, we'll get this one. Looks good enough. I don't know what the poly count on it is, but add to project. Yeah. This is architectural fragment Kilbury. Just downloading. All right. So to make a rock, let's go grab that. I don't know where it put it. Where did it put it? There we go. Fab. And it's rotated wrong, but that's okay. First thing I'm going to do, take this. Let's scale it up. Yeah, 15's good. I'm going to rotate it. About there's good. Rotate a little more. Next, because we got to fix some of the weird stuff. One of the weird angles. Let's go to modeling. First things first. Add a pivot to center. Use world box center. Yeah, there we go. Accept. And then, whoop. Wait. I probably should have baked transformation first. I actually don't know what's the poly count on this. That actually might be helpful to. Oh my goodness! Would you look at that? Yeah, damn. That is a detailed fella. Like, that's too much for nanite. All right, well, that actually is good because it means I can show off how I use some of these tools, because I often will take higher poly stuff and shrink it down. So let's first we'll bake the transformation. Da 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 da. And next, I'm going to reduce the poly count a fair bit. Modeling, we're simplify. Mesh? I think it's mesh. Simplify, there we go. On that, we are going to go down to... No, we're not going to use percentage, because that's going to take forever. We're going to do triangle count. We'll go with 10,000 triangles. Why isn't that working? Oh, it's probably too big. Reduce the number of Okay, fellas. I can't use that rock. So you know what? Instead, I'm going to delete it from my project because I don't want it. I believe I have an old rock pack in here somewhere. Let me just look up rocks. Static mesh. Oh, yeah. Well, I think this was the one I used. I think. If not, that's fine. So, this is a rock I made in Blender. And I believe it's got the poly count reduced on it already. So, actually, yeah. So from there, oh yeah, and it's got some of the angles still baked in. So there's some ways to do that to make a new cliff face, for instance. Let's do that. Let's maybe grab this rock too. This is like one bit baked into Unreal Engine, or not baked in. Like this is a default rock you get from something. I don't remember what. I'm not releasing this or probably even using this, so just demonstration. So then, yeah, I just do whatever I wanted. Let's actually do another one this way. We'll give it kind of an arch outwards. Now remember, I am not working with super realistic stuff. I'm working largely with kind of a stylized look, so I can afford to let the shaders do most of my work. So what I'm going to do is take that, we'll get another one of these, and we'll go like this. Okay, let's select all this crap. Get it all selected. I think that's it. Yeah, okay. Next. Modeling. Let's go and merge these wherever I can find it. Merge, there we go. That will create a new object. I mean, I guess you can overwrite stuff, but yeah. Temp rock. Accept. I think I did it. No, I deselected them because I'm dumb. All right, let's do that again. There we go. Again, from the top. Model, or deform, mesh? What am I doing? Merge, there we go. Merge. SM temp rock 1. And let's go and accept that. Combine them together. Hang on, let me check on something on the off side here for 1 second. And okay, checked what I needed to. Back to this. All right, now that these are all merged together, first of all, we'll keep the pivot as we is. Next, I want to combine them all into one object. So we're going to go to voxel, and I believe it's voxel wrap. Yeah, that's a way to do it. Now, for the voxel wrap, I'm actually going to keep this relatively high poly because I want to keep the edges. Auto simplify. We're going to say... I think I have... Maybe this wasn't it. No, this was it. Basically, I wanted to keep the edges as much as possible, the sharpness on the edges as much as possible. Voxel merge, that was the one I wanted. All right, auto simplify and transfer collision output type. Wait, was this it? I don't remember. Voxel offset? That's definitely not it. Mesh. Maybe it was remesh? Remesh? No. Remesh is what I do later. Yeah, we're going to go with voxel merge. Mesh adaptivity. I think this was it. What we set it to 1. Okay. We're going to go 400. No, 400? Pretty high voxel count. Though I need to make sure I don't get what I had with the other time. 400 is probably way too high. Or is it? No, that's actually pretty good. 0.1. I think that's good enough. Kind of combine everything together. Let's accept that. Now, I got our base shape to work with in all its high poly glory. Next, simplify, where we're going to try and clamp down some of these surfaces. And this time we are going to use percentage. We'll make sure to preserve sharp edges. And mesh boundaries group. I think that's about good. 7. We'll do 40%. Look how it looks. Yeah, and keep in mind the style I'm going for. I'm mostly only concerned about some of these edges in the AO. Not concerned about detail on the surfaces because that's going to be handled through the shader. Now, if I hit accept, boom. All right, there we go. That's our base rock shape. What's the poly count? Let me check. It is 4,000 triangles, so it is still pretty large, but not insanely large. Especially because this is one where I absolutely would use nanite on. If I may debunk one of the recent myths about Unreal, nanite is actually a great tool. That's what some people say. It's just like most tools, you can't use it for everything. You got to use it for the right stuff. All right, now all I got to do if I wanted to use this is go into. I guess I can show this too. Go back to here. I'm going to go into my materials, instances, and no. I need to put surface in instances. That's a mistake of me. Just toss the default shader on, and there you go. I got grass. I got the rocks. And, of course, that stuff scales. I mean, that's pretty bad looking, but that's okay. Oh, and one thing I also want to do before I'm done here is... let's take this off for a minute. See how it's all gray? We need to fix the UVs too. So that's the last thing. Voxel wrap, simplify. UVs, there they are. Auto UV. And you can just auto UV. That works fine. Except. There we go. Now you can see the world aligned texture. And then we can toss whatever surface materials we want on here. Ooh, that one's broken. But is this one broken too? Nope. And there's the sandy one. There's our frame rate chugging at a wonderful. Okay, it's back to 70 frames. It was at 15 for a second there. But there, we got a new rock. And we can do what we want with it. Epic. So there's an example of how I make rocks. And again, I try to use public domain and free stuff as much as possible. Oh yeah, you can do some neat tricks like I have here. I took one rock. Well, this is so I used the Pro Instance plugin, created a circle with these, created another circle but tilt them outwards, and then I merged them down into Geo Rocks to make this boy. And then of course I simplified it a lot. Which from there, yeah, I can do S. I think it's Cliff. Is that what I called them? That's not what I called them. What did I call them? Oh boy, we're back down to. I don't know what the frame rate's doing in this stupid thing. That's not what I wanted. Surfaces. There we go. Back to this, and boom. Look how easy it is to make stuff. Crank that bad boy up. Then you throw on a good PCG asset that adds grass and trees and rocks and stuff, and you're basically ready to go. So, Ignat, hello. Thanks for coming. We are about to wrap up the stream here because we go for 30 minutes. But if there's anything anyone would like to see in the last few minutes we have, just shoot it in the comments and I can possibly check it out. But yeah, that's how I make rocks. That's how I've been making all of these, so I don't have to use marketplace rocks. And working off of marketplace stuff as much as possible. Because it's bloat that I don't need. Oh hey, did I ever show this? My level building tool? Or not level, a room building tool. This is a couple of things, but it primarily uses my World Mason plugin. Hopefully that blueprint actually loaded. Or is loading. There we go. Let's check the construction script. Yeah, it's not the most complicated, but yeah, use a driver to build tiles, which I believe are the floor. Yeah, the floor tiles. And then, if any of you using World Mason want to stop and look at this in more detail, that's, go for it. Starts off here, comes to here. Then we build the walls. Potentially build the ceiling. Oh, you can add doors. Then if the ceiling's on, we add the ceiling, and we can also, we have an option to hide the ceiling on preview. So like right now, this does have a ceiling when I play the game, but I have it hidden on preview. But yeah, and then you can just take the driver, change the room size, the height, move where the doors are, add another door. And then you can change out these mesh pieces as much as you want. What else was I going to show? Oh, yeah, you could choose walls visible to turn certain walls on and off. I believe so far this is only used in the first dungeons so far. But it is a tool that I made. Like all the tools I made. Grid mesh? What's this? Oh, this is, I just made a grid mesh. Pretty simple. This is a lot of testing. This is the art testing map, if you haven't been able to tell. Good old volume-based stuff. Yeah, we're just kind of, I guess, messing around here. Just wasting time until I hit the 30 minutes, which I got 1 minute left. Oh, yeah, good old enterables meshes. Looked really cool, and then I got them, and I was like, wow, these aren't optimized. But they're still kind of cool, mainly on the tiles here. And the enterables, this is one of the marketplace sellers that I actually do use. Though right now I'm using these. I probably need to simplify the tiles. Not probably. I should. They're more for background stuff. At least this set is. I have another set that I use somewhere. If I scroll down to the enterables thing and go to static mesh. Actually, I'll just show their Fab marketplace or their Fab store page. Enterables, because they're pretty cute. Did I say cute? I said cool. I meant cute. I'm taking a nap after this. Enterables, their stuff's cool because it's all just like the mesh is made up. They're not like broken into tiny pieces. You have to construct them themselves. You just get these right out of the box. They are pricey, as you can see, but they are really cool. And one thing I really like about them, makes them easy to use, is the way I was very, very happy when I found this out. Enterables textures. If I can show you this. This is what I was talking about. Some of them just not loading into memory despite being used. Like some of these are being used, but they're just not being loaded in. But yeah, point is there are textures. They're all, well, that one's stretched, but they're all tileable is the point. They're UV'd so that it only uses, at least so far that I've seen, tiled surfaces. Let me do a different one. Mesoamerica. Yeah. Like this. Which means they're easy to swap out the textures on. I just take another tileable texture and I can throw it off and throw it on there and it works. Which is actually what I have been doing, because these are all custom materials and textures. These are not the ones they come with. And now the wood right there is using a world aligned wood, which I need to change to use a UV based wood. That's why it looks a little weird. But the plaster, yeah, I could just throw that on and it all looks fine, which is great. They're one of the few marketplace packs that I still want to use. But yeah, we're at 32 minutes, so yeah, like I said, shorter one. Still kind of a net negative or net backwards this month, unfortunately, but that happens sometimes. Still making a little progress. Wait, hang on. OBS transition, because we are technically done with the main stream. Just got post stream, and again, once again, if anyone's got questions, now is the time. Otherwise, I'll be heading out in a minute. But yeah, that's where things are currently standing. I made a promise to keep up every Monday, so even if there's a little, and I just revealed my desktop. Oh well, you're seeing all my most horrible secrets. What he has? What do I have up here? He has Rune Factory. No, Handbrake. Conception 2. Oh no, a picture of Nanako. What's that doing on my desktop? Oh, you can't even see that. I could have hidden that. No, wait, you didn't say anything. No, Nanako is so cute. Persona 4 is like one of the best games ever. So I don't remember why that's here and not in the pictures folder though. But probably a meme. Anyway. Oh, I'm stupid. I was saying that while I forgot I transitioned onto the main screen. This is why you go to sleep at a reasonable time, fellas. You don't stay up to... And yes, by the way, if any of my friends are watching this, you know who you are. This is why you go to bed at a reasonable time, because this stuff happens if you don't. All right, guys. That's all for this month. Thanks for coming anyway. And yeah, I will... Back with another thing. Oh, one last thing. I'll probably post this later. I am also thinking of moving these streams to Saturday evenings, or at least maybe an evening instead of this time, since I know this isn't an ideal time for a lot of people. I want it to be kind of at the start of the month, and I don't want to do a Sunday, so first Monday seemed like a good idea, but I will probably move to Saturday evenings, but I'm not 100% sure yet, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. So, all right. Thanks for coming, and I will see you